Action figure review.
What's up, everyone? Thank you very much for once again tuning into the Collector's Side for another action figure review, and I am here to review and take a look at something very exciting that my friends over at Diamond Select Toys sent me directly. I am super excited to finally have this figure. I'm not really, or never have been, a big collector of Marvel Selects. Of course, I'm not going to say no when Diamond asks me to take a look at something. So, I am very excited to present to you guys for review the Marvel Select Marvel's Beast action figure. And this series has been around for quite a long time. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's just something I never really fell into collecting. You know, just, I don't know. I always kind of gravitated more towards the Marvel Legends figures. You know, that's just me personally. But, you know, one thing I've always liked about these particular figures are that they come with these diorama bases. And that's something that I always liked about them. So I don't know if you guys can see that. But what we'll do is we're going to open this up and take a look at the figure. First things first, we're going to take a look at the packaging. Now, the packaging has been pretty much the same packaging for many years. You know, Diamond Select Toys has pretty much used this type of box ever since I can remember, to be honest with you. They haven't really varied up the packaging very much. I mean, it's a giant box. You know, it's really it's a lot of plastic here. So if you can see, I mean, this is about 3.5 inches thick of plastic, maybe 4 inches thick of plastic, and the box dimensions itself, it's just about 12 by about 8.5, maybe 9. And it's just a beefy box. I mean, there's the little, you know, you get the figure in there, but look at all that space. There's a lot of space inside that box. The graphics themselves for the packaging, they're really rather unimpressive. The price point, however, is really great for what it is. It's you know, it comes with just the extra pair of hands, and it comes with the diorama base, as you can see. This figure's been out for a while, but it's just that, you know, I like the fact that it comes with the diorama base. It works well with Marvel Legends. It also can work really nicely with Mezco figures. So that's something that's really cool if you do happen to be collecting the Marvel Select line. I don't know, I mean, it's just never really something that I gravitated towards, but we're going to take a look at it. So let's open it up. But you see, look at this whole giant box here. Now, it does have this Marvel licensed product thing in there. And when you open this up, we've got the diorama piece. This is the backdrop. And it is for the Danger Room, which is really cool. So if you have some of the other X-Men figures, the X-Men figures come with the diorama pieces to basically build your Danger Room. Now, it's not a beefy sort of backdrop. However, it's still pretty neat. I do like that it comes with this. So the question is the assembly and trying to figure out where these bits and pieces connect to each other. And there we go. So they kind of fit together. Forgive me, I've got an eyelash in my eye as I'm trying to do this. It's kind of like a wall, it looks like. And I'm stepping away for 1 second because, of course, I got something in my eye, and I am not re-recording because I don't have time. So here, what we're going to do, pull this out. And now, see, it's just this big, giant box. That's the one thing I don't like about it is such a giant box. But we're going to open this up, and some crazy things happening in this office. All right, going to untie the figure. Just want you to see how much effort it takes to release the figure from his plastic prison. So now that was rather violent. I apologize. All right, so having the figure in hand, I'm going to zoom in on him in just a second, but I want to get the diorama base kind of put together. So we've got that part, we've got this part. There's two connections here that are to be made. Now, I think this is kind of cool. I love the fact that it comes with the diorama base. That, to me, makes this even better for the price point because it makes this multifunctional. You can use this in other figures as well. And you get some nice detail here. So that's pretty cool. I really do like that. I would totally use this on some Mezco figures like Wolverine or even Marvel Legends figures. Now it does come with the bar, which I'm going to take out of the package here. And it comes with one other pair of hands that can be used to hold that bar. And I'm going to get the rest of this out. Because it's got these little ties in there. There we go. So we got the pieces out. Now it comes with these handlebars here, so you guys can see this. And we're going to zoom in on just so you can see the details. There we go. Zoom out a little. Whoop! I hit the thing. Don't wanna. There we go. Okay, so you guys can kind of see some nice details inside that diorama. We're gonna put the handlebars on, so you can see there's this post here. Paint applications are good. Same thing on the figure. I'd say the paint applications are good, and we'll get to the figure in 1 second. Right now I'm just trying to figure out how these are supposed to go. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Then we're gonna do this. So now this doesn't seem to attach to anything that I can see other than the floor. And I'm sure the instructions are probably in there, and of course I'm too stubborn to look at them. But I'm going to turn it this way. There we go. So I guess it's kind of like that. So I'm going to set this down here and push this in like that. So I want it to kind of sit on the floor straight, which that's a little annoying, but I'm not sure that that's correct. Yeah, I mean it has to be, but I mean it's the only way it seems to be able to work. So there you go. No, it's okay. I mean that kind of annoys me. They could have put one more tab in there, but the bottom is so thin. I mean they could have put a tab sticking out so that you can fit this on top. That's kind of stupid. But whatever, it is what it is. Still looks cool. So we got him inside it. So now we get to Beast. So, getting down and dirty with Beast. Alright, so nice big beefy action figure here. And just kind of looking at overall articulation is rather limited. I'll show you guys, we'll zoom out and I'll give you a sense of the articulation here. I'd say the legs are decent. Not the greatest. So far, still, without holding this thing for more than a minute, the Marvel Legends Toy Biz Beast is hands down better in terms of quality, articulation, and range of motion. So we're going to just zoom out for a sec. Let me refocus. There we go. Alright, so now you guys can see Beast here. I'm going to do this. Now the details are nice. It's got some nice comic book accurate detailing. You know, kind of an old school sort of a facial sculpt. I mean, you know, it's okay. Not my favorite, I would say. You know, that's disappointing. See, like, this is the range of motion. It's very limited. That's as far up as his arms move. Obviously, his arms are going to go from when they're tucked in all the way. They'll go a full 360. They're going to rotate all the way around here, as you can see, all the way around here. Now he's got bicep swivel. He's got single jointed elbow, and he's got ball joint for the wrist. Now he's got decent range of motion for his head. So we're going to zoom in on that. And you can see here. I'll show you the face. Okay. So the facial sculpt is pretty good. It's kind of an old school comic book style head sculpt. So that's kind of neat. But he looks up that much. That's as far as he goes, really. That's not a lot. Looks down. Obviously, you know, left. Right, that's really it. So now if you guys can get a closer look, you can see the sculpting of the fur prevents the shoulders from being raised up very high. Beast is a very acrobatic character, and so the fact that he has no range of motion in his shoulders is very disappointing. You know, he's got sort of it's a kind of, I don't know what exactly you would kind of call this particular joint. I would just say he's got torso articulation. It's basically a peg and channel joint. That's what I call it, something like that, where it's basically you have a channel on this part of the torso here. You have the peg going into it, and the peg is connecting both the upper torso and the lower torso. So there's kind of like almost, it's hinge-like articulation, but that's, you know, not bad for him to be leaning that far forward. But that's as far back as he's able to go. He can't really move backwards. Now, if you see, the reason he can't move backwards is you've got his back muscles here, which are overly exaggerated and incorrectly sculpted, are preventing him from moving at all. Let's see if he has any. Yeah, he's got swivel at the waist, and similar to Toy Biz, he's got a hinge at the upper thigh where it meets the pelvis. Unfortunately, he's only got about a 45-degree tilt. You guys can see that. That's as far as he can be posed. Now, I do like the shading and the little detailing here in the paint. The paint applications are very good, and the sculpted detail of the fur is decent. So that I'm not knocking, but you know, you can see like here in the forearms, you can see all the hair, the details in the hair and the fur. So I mean, it's nicely done in terms of the detail. Now, the double jointed knees, so that's the best part of the articulation. At least you have some decent knee, you know, double jointed knee articulation. You've got a ball joint in the feet, and it pivots ever so slightly. However, the flaw here, I think, is that the ball joint is basically the ankle. So you just have kind of a hinge in the foot, which doesn't allow for a lot of movement. As you see, that's about as much as he can do. He can't really pivot too much, and he doesn't have a full ball joint here. So you're limited by the ankle, so you can't actually do any ankle pivot until you turn it to meet where the hinge is supposed to make the foot pivot. So the way that's engineered, that part of the joint doesn't move. It's one piece, and so you have to rely on the peg to shift in order to be able to pivot. So not great. Zoom out a little bit. I'm going to change the angle of the camera, so bear with me a sec. We got that. So now here, I would say you can get some dynamic poses when it comes to him standing stationary on the ground. But as far as doing any sort of acrobatic poses or anything like that, which Beast is known for. Oh, and I almost forgot, he's got an upper thigh swivel here, which is goofy. Not necessary. Doesn't really make up for anything. So you can sort of get him to like sit Indian style. Unfortunately, there's really not much else he can do other than Doctor Strange it. And I don't know, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, he can hang, I guess he could probably hang from this in some way. But Beast is supposed to be ape-like. So he's supposed to have feet that pivot, that bend, that with the toes. I mean, he's supposed to be able to hang upside down. Now, this would be an excellent figure if his toes moved in such a way where you could wrap his toes around the pole and have him holding on that way. But as it stands, you really can't. And his hands are in here. They're more of a closed fist, but they're open so they can grab onto the bars. There's really not much that you can do there. You know. So I'm trying to get this. Yeah, it's just not. I mean, you can kind of. It's really meant to be like this. I'm fighting with the stupid pole. There we go. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I would say honestly, it's really not that great of a figure. Very disappointing. So that is my review for the Diamond Select Beast. I have a couple more Diamond Select figures that I'll be taking a look at for you guys, so keep an eye out for those. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching this video. I would say diorama base is cool. Figure, mediocre. I'm sorry, Diamond, but you know, some of these are good figures. So they do make good figures. This particularly for me, in terms of the character that they're trying to represent, it's not the best representation. I think you'll find Hasbro did a better job on its newer Beast. Toy Biz is still excellent as far as the Beast figure goes. And let's see if we can just do one little pose before we go. I mean, this is, you know, it's very limiting. And I'm going to try... Yeah, see, he should be able to do some really funky poses, and I can't get him to do much of anything other than basically to kind of crouch at the ground and look like a blue Sasquatch. That's it, and that's really, that shouldn't be all you get from Beast. You should be able to get more out of your Beast figure. So, with the diorama base, it's alright. So, thank you very much for tuning in and watching this edition of the Collector Side. Thank you very much to Diamond Select Toys for sending me this figure to take a look at. I wish I had a better review for you, but maybe next time. So, keep Compos on. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.